And I stay under you fighting, plus I'm storming on you chumps like...
All right, that's about enough of that. Welcome to The Biscuit. I'm William. We are always brought to you by Lucid Float Spas out of Mount Vernon, Ohio. This is a sensory deprivation tank center. Go there, take a float, tell them The Biscuit sent you, get half off. We are also proud to be partnered up with ParkersPlatoon.org, a nonprofit organization put together by Scott the Sheriff Parker, part of the 2001 Stanley Cup Colorado Avalanche. And they are a charity set to help veterans. And, go there. Check out their stuff. They've got CBD oil. They've got jerseys for auction, challenge coins, all that good stuff. Go check it out. I am joined today by the champ. That's why I played the fucking song. 4thLineVoice. Here we go. No, you're always number one. Well, I didn't know... I didn't even know I was going to record tonight, but then I keep telling myself I'm going to do it Sunday morning, and then it gets to fucking Thursday, and I'm like, oh, well, I have to record. So I'm only about 4 or 5 fucking days late, whatever that math is. But I am here with the great 4thLineVoice, and he's got a few beers in him, so he's ripper and ready to go. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. So now we're recording, right? Now you hit record?
Dude, you're getting good.
Okay, here, hold on for a sec. There we go. I had to play that. The champ is here. All right.
And that's from your boxing days, right?
Yeah, there we go. Finish third a few times. Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't even think now it's just everybody wins. So, a third place is quite an accomplishment, quite a feat.
Well, I was going to say one time, as my old buddy Bart said one time after he got into a fight up in Nipawin and got his ass kicked, he said, Darren, he goes, I didn't go down, but I was doing funny things standing up.
Oh, God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So what's happening? We're in Ohio. What's going down?
Oh, man, it's going down. It's snowing a bunch lately, which has been pretty nice. And the kids have all been sick, so that's been real good. There's a beer shortage of Labatt and at the local grocery as well. So had to
see right there. I mean, that's cause for I can't believe Trump hasn't brought the National Guard in yet.
Well, the wife went and talked to the manager this time, so he really fucked up.
Oh yeah, you don't want the wife showing up.
Oh yeah. No. She just wants a couple of bats here and there, and if she can't get them, there's gonna be problems.
Someone's gonna get the Flint handshake.
She'll give it to you. That's for damn sure. There's a few ladies in Flint that can show you the wall that they got slammed up into. Not by me. No, well,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm going to be visiting your great country here in about a week.
You're going to Flint?
Not going to Flint. Jesus, going to Flint. What do you think? I lost a bet? No, I'm going to Las Vegas.
Oh, dude, that is awesome. You just go there because you're a DGen, right? And just go gamble?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Get out of the cold. Dude, it's been minus 40 here for 3 weeks in a row.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a minus 38 this morning when I went out to start my car. Yeah, to go to work at 5 o'clock this morning. But it was a dry minus 38. But colder in the banker's heart, I'm telling you.
Do they make you work outside then in the minus 40?
I do have an outdoor job, yes.
Oh my!
Stay in school, kids. Yeah. Brutal. We're opening up the fridge door to heat the house.
No kidding. Well, dude, Vegas will be a nice change of pace, man. I love it out there.
My fat ass and shorts and flip flops are going to be about 20 there. Beers will be flying and money will be. Oh yeah, it'll be great.
Hell yeah!
I always have a good time in Vegas. How do you have a bad time in Vegas?
It's the only is the day after you get there. The first night is always a little rough, because you go hard, and then that next morning until you shake it off, that's the only bad time you have, though. But even a hangover in Vegas isn't that bad.
Well, it's funny because it's like if I drink here like on a Friday and a Saturday, like for the next 5-6 days, I'm dog shit.
Right.
Like I just can't do it anymore. But I go down to Vegas and it's literally like I'm 18 again. I don't know if it's the oxygen they pump into the casinos or what's going on, but I literally go straight on alcoholic for like 7 days when we're there.
Dude, that is awesome. I wish you guys would have been there when Big Rand was there. That would have been epic.
Fuck, Big Rand, they let him out of that Michigan. Where is he from in Michigan again?
Mishawakatagi or fucking Chattanooga, some fucking place?
I don't know, fuck. His town there. He left the ice fishing shack and went to Las Vegas.
Oh,
there you go.
He fucking sent me pictures. He's not even putting the shanty up anymore. He's just sitting out in his fucking coat ice fishing.
Oh, there you go. Hard times. We don't even have shanties now. Jesus.
He lives in Sturgis, Michigan. I just thought of it.
Right. Yeah, the town's so small, the local hooker's a virgin. Yeah.
Well,
I forgot. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Vegas,
Second Street's the next town over.
Yeah, no shit. Speaking of Vegas, they just broke an expansion record. 34 wins in one season and counting. Pretty remarkable for an expansion team, but they were set up pretty damn well. With the amount of money they paid for a team, they should have been, but I mean, it's to a surprise. They weren't supposed to be this good, but I mean, 34 wins for an expansion team seems incredible. Just etching out the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim and the Florida Panthers from their 93 and 94 season. So congratulations to Vegas fans. It's good that there's a hockey team out there, but it's good for gambling because I think with a professional team, wasn't it always the argument that you can't have gambling everywhere else because there's teams, so they did it in Vegas, but now they have a professional team, so are the floodgates open now?
Well, it was funny. I was just reading an article on one of the gambling sites, and it was like Vegas, the sports books are just getting their asses handed to them with the Golden Knights' success. Because everybody's like placing a bet, Golden Knights to win, and then going to the game, right? Because it's always more fun to watch the game when you got money on it.
Right.
Of course, the Golden, what they've lost only 2 games at home or something? Like something ridiculous.
I think you're right. I think it's 2 games at home.
Oh, yeah. So the sports books are just taking a bath, with the Golden Knights success. But no, it's, it's great. It's, I mean, I can remember the expansion when it was, friggin' Ottawa and San Jose, and they were just like, they look like a team like, that you'd have a telethon for. They were so bad. Even
when Columbus got their team, nobody wanted to report to Columbus to play, so it was just like all these scrubs, and then they didn't even want to come, like they didn't even want a job in Columbus to be a professional hockey player. It was just like, oh, fuck, here we go, we're going to go play for a team that has a fucking bug as the fucking jersey.
Yeah. I'll stay in Wheeling. I'm good in the East Coast League, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't call me. But the only cool thing, I can remember when San Jose had their expansion team, because back then teams would just be like, we'll leave these guys unprotected, right? It was just like, it was a lot of just bubble guys and minor leaguers.
Right.
And San Jose just loaded up on the Smith, right? It's like Link Gates and Odgers and Craig Cox and all these guys. Kevin Evans and
they kind of had to, being called the Sharks, right? They had to have a little bit of bite to them, I think.
Oh yeah, but they were just full on. I remember the first back then it was the old Sega Genesis. San Jose was the team to play. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just gooning it up. It was great.
Now, and I know you're a football fan too, so with Vegas, having the success that they're having, I mean, it's almost for sure the Raiders are going out there. So that city's going to be fucking a wild goddamn place. Even more wild than it is.
Well, yeah. Well, and talk about like the perfect NFL team to go there, the Raiders, right? Like,
no shit. It's perfect.
If there was ever a team made for Las Vegas, it's the Raiders. Oh. Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect. And I had to think there's somebody out there that put down, $5,000 on the Golden Knights to make the playoffs in the first year. The odds were probably insane too. I mean, because no bet gets left untouched out there. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. If somebody, it's 10,000 million tweets ago, but I tweeted at the start of the year that Vegas would make the playoffs.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. Well, and I meant it. I wasn't just joking, because it was like, if you just looked at their team, it was just solid, right? And like I wasn't saying, oh, they're winning the cup, but they're only going to lose twice at home. I wasn't saying that. But I'm like, everybody kept saying how they were just going to be dog shit. I'm kind of looking at them like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know. I think they can kind of get in. I don't know. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Right. And when I was looking at them, I was like, man, you definitely can't pick them to be last place. So I had them second to last just because I figured that every expansion team ever it happens to. So it was like I was just a victim of fucking hockey writers, basically, letting them fucking tell me McDavid's going to win his first cup and fucked my shit all up. So I won't read it anymore. I'm done with it.
Well, I don't know about Edmonton. I don't really know what's going on there. Like I said, I don't watch this shit, so I can't. I'm not going to act like I'm some sort of expert and I know what the Oilers' problem is. But it's pretty drastic fall off from. I mean, what were they in the semifinals last year or second round? Wherever the hell they were in. I mean,
they went second round. I mean, and they gave the Sharks every bit of their money there too. I mean, I don't know if it was like, you had guys like Maroon and Cassian that were like playing way over their heads. And, it was like the perfect storm. Yeah, both those boys turned in fucking, I think, career years last year. They were whatever it was. I don't know if it was McDavid pumping stem cells into their dicks or what was happening, but those guys came to play. And for whatever reason, it's not happening this year. And but I mean, the last like 4 or 5 games, they've looked like the Oilers. But when Cam Talbot plays like Cam Talbot, you're going to lose games. I would beg Big Rand to quit telling me that he was good last year. I was like, I just don't buy it. But we'll see what happens. And with McDavid, he drops 5 points on Tampa Bay the other day. And all I see on Twitter is McDavid scores his first 4-goal game. Not McDavid scores 4 goals in a game, but they have to put it like they know for a fact that he's going to score 4 goals again. He could be in a car accident, break his legs, never play. The way that they approach headlines is becoming a huge problem.
Well, what's the social media term for it? I'm trying to think now. Clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, and it's amazing. And you'd always sort of expect that out of the fucking nerd blogger, or whatever. Right. But now it's like, I mean, every major news outlet pretty well.
It was on.
It's like TMZ. Everything's like just TMZ reporting. It's just like,
It was on NHL Network. I saw it on TV. Yeah. I was like, now you guys, like, come on. You got fucking little McDress up there telling me that fucking he's got his first 4-goal game and all this. I'm like, well, guys, I mean, he scores points like a phenom, but you let him win some games first, and then let's talk about it. But you don't know. I mean, not that many people score 4 goals multiple times in a career. It's not a very common thing.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe I just don't enjoy the churching up of it. And then then the next narrative was how many games it took everybody to do. So I'm just going to ramble this off real quick. But so it took Marcel Dion 582 games. You probably remember him playing, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So McDavid did it in 178. Gretzky in 136. Bossy did it in 152. Brett Hull 540. Obviously, the great American hero Austin Matthews did it in 1 game. And that was freaky. I remember being excited to watch him play. I was bummed out that he had to go to Toronto just because I wanted him to play on an American team. But I mean, that's
right. He did score 4 goals in his first game, didn't he?
I forgot about that. His first game, man. That's that's
unbelievable. He's probably thinking afterwards, "Oh, this shit's easy. I don't know what everybody's talking about."
As a 19-year-old. And he was, prepped more to play. I know he went and played, I think in Switzerland, played in a professional league. So, I mean, he did have an upper hand on the guys. I mean, that's if you're saying the Swiss league is better than going, major junior or whatever. But he knew what was coming professionally. So he was
19 years old and you're scoring 4 games in your NHL debut.
Dude.
When I was 19, I was searching my couch cushions trying to find quarters so I could scrounge up enough money to buy a case of beer.
Yeah, man.
This guy scored 4 goals on Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah. I was walking down the train tracks in Cleveland, like you said, finding fucking change so I could go buy some Mickeys and fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he just does it with a calm face too. he's a hell of a dude. And now this was something I had talked to you about a couple weeks ago, and you actually answered me. I was wondering, if guys got paid in juniors, or how instead of Matthews going to Canadian juniors or playing in the NCAA, he went and opted out to go play over there. So so he's getting paid probably more than he would have in major juniors. He had his mom over there living with him. But now you were saying that they do get paid a little bit of money if they go play major juniors.
Yeah, it's all changed from when I was really paying attention to it. But in junior, so in major junior they get paid. They don't call it that, and whatever you want to call it, a per diem or whatever. And it's just based on years in the league. So it's not like, we're going to sign a free agent because we're going to pay him more money than Kelowna does. No, it's like, but I think it's like now somebody out there will. It's like $100 a week or something, 2 weeks. It's like no more $50. It's like not really any money. But and then the other problem. Well, then the other thing is so now you got below that you have Junior A, like the Alberta League, Saskatchewan Junior A. Back when I was you would have teams that would literally pay guys, under the table, and they could recruit. And they'd give them, I know guys that were making, $600 or $700 a month, right? Or they promise them a job in the mine or something or whatever,
right?
But so that's why. But then it was funny because NCAA. That's why you can't play major junior and then. Like, you can't play a year with the Kelowna Rockets, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to get a scholarship, and I'm going to go to Harvard now.
Right, because you've been.
The moment you play a major junior game, you're ineligible for a college scholarship.
Now, it just doesn't, and that's because they've considered you a professional athlete, that you've made money off of your name, so you're no good to them.
Kind of. Well, but then the funny thing is the Junior A guys get paid too.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. Well, like I just said, they'll pay but again, so you have a choice at 16 or whatever. Am I going to go the major junior route or am I going to go the college route? Because if I'm going to go the college route, I have to go play Junior A.
Okay.
But for major junior, for every year that you play major junior, the league will pay for a year of school.
And that's a flat rate for every player?
Yes.
So does Junior A, do they draft kids, or are they just talking to kids saying, hey, Johnny, 16-year-old, you're good, why don't you come play here? And then they go from there, and then you get drafted by the OHL or whatever?
You'll get drafted in both leagues.
Okay.
You're by both. And Junior A goes by, provincially. So if you're born in Saskatchewan, it's not like someone out in BC is drafting you.
Okay.
Junior A. A Saskatchewan Junior A team will draft you.
Okay, so you stay.
And then you have to go there.
And that word you use is for my American listeners. It's basically like a state. They have providences up there.
Or else, exactly. But in major junior, like in the Western Hockey League, obviously it's over 4 provinces and then the states as well. So any team can draft you. It doesn't matter where you live in major junior, but in Junior A, you have to be from that province.
Okay. See, now that makes a lot of sense.
So that's a big.
That's a huge decision.
A big decision for a 15, 16-year-old kid, right? And it's screwed over. And some of these NHL or WHL teams, or every major junior team, screws over some kids hard.
Yeah.
Because they'll sit in your living room and tell the parents and talk to them, and they'll build them up like, oh, he's going to be our next Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Well, they keep him for a month, and then they cut you, so you go back now to Junior A. Well, now you're screwed. Now you can't get a scholarship, and you can't get in. And you didn't play long enough in major junior for them to pay for any schooling, so now you've just screwed yourself.
So the second you sign on the dotted line, the NCAA...
The moment you play,
the
moment you step on the ice in major junior, your eligibility's gone.
Wow. So you had to think and you had to have the confidence...
But if you play as a 16, 17, 18-year-old, whatever, in major junior, for every year you play, you have university paid for, a year of university paid for.
Oh.
So if you don't get drafted or you decide not to go pro or whatever, which many don't, the majority don't, you go to university. And then you play college hockey here, university hockey.
Now, does that work for boys from the States up there? Can they go to Canadian university, or is that only for Canadian boys?
I guess Americans could go. I don't know why they would, though.
Well,
but,
maybe.
No, that's not, because I guess if you're an American and you're playing for, you'd have a year of school paid for it.
Yeah.
It might be the same as the Canadians. Yeah, I would assume so.
I would just think just because it would be free that they would take them up on it, instead of coming back here and going to, Arizona State and have to pay out of pocket. That'd be interesting, because it's I think they could probably go to Arizona State and the major junior would pay for it. I would think. Okay.
I don't know. Somebody in the listening audience can answer that better than I can.
Please. And then I know
it's like NCAA is in the States. Up here in Canada, it's called CIAU, and it's really good hockey because all the players are older because they've all played major junior already. So the CIAU guys, like our university hockey players, are like 21 to 25 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, because they all played major junior. Then after it was done, okay, now I'm going to go to university because they're paying for it. Well, so now you're 20, 21, 22, 23. So the hockey is really good because they're all like ex-junior or major junior players.
What's the collegiate league called up there?
CIAU.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about this just because I know a lot of listeners down here in the States, we know about, the Quebec Major Juniors and the OHL and, all in the dub, but the process of it is, might as well be French because all you see is like, Fedor playing for the Rockets or whoever, and you're just like, oh, well, that guy is a professional hockey player. It doesn't really seep into your mind that, holy shit, he's going to high school and then living with some family in Canada. You know what I mean? So they get free room and board with these families that take them in?
Yes.
And then...
Well, the team pays for it, yeah. And with your billets, yeah.
So what do you do? Apply for that? As if, like, I'm Mrs. Johnson and I go, hey, I want to harbor some fucking kid so I can get some dick on the side and he can play hockey?
Tea with Miss McGill. Yeah. Watch Youngblood. It's exactly for all you Americans. If you've never watched it, go watch the 80s classic Youngblood. That hockey movie will explain everything you need to know. Not much has changed, I don't think.
Good.
But, see, most of the players, so you play Bantam, and then you're drafted in the Bantam draft when you're 15. And then it's usually 16 and 17-year-olds will play AAA midget. Unless you're like a real star, then you play at 16, but most guys don't.
Yeah.
So at 17, essentially you're done high school anyway, for the most part at 17, give or take, or you have 1 year. You're in grade 12. So that year, that's when you go off to play wherever. So, yeah, you'll usually playing high school, or you'll be going to high school as well for a year and for wherever you go. But yeah, you live with a billet family, and
wow.
Billet families apply, or like teams will be put out ads or whatever looking for billet families. And I don't know how much they get paid. I think the team pays them $400 a month. Whatever, the kid will usually eat that and food alone. So
shit.
It's not a money making. It's to help the team out and and support the team. It's like it's not a money making deal or anything. But a lot of times like these billet families, I mean. I know friends that when they went off and played, like there's to this day, they've invited the billet family to their weddings and are friends with them to this day. Well, they become your parents.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you have Connor McDavid sleeping on your pullout in the basement, then he goes number one pick. And, it's an impressionable age too, to have a 16, 17, 18-year-old dude living with your family. So I'm sure a lot of these... That's a big thing. I mean, a lot of kids get homesick, and I mean, it's a big deal, and the pressure's on, and right.
And I mean, 17, you move away different province, or even a different country. If you're playing for the Portland Winterhawks, now all of a sudden I'm from Saskatchewan. Well, here I am in a different country, going to school with I don't know anybody on the team. I don't know anyone there. I'm living with a foreign, with strangers. It's a big. You got to grow up fast.
Now,
and some guys can't handle it, and they mentally break.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's sad, but it's part of the process, I guess. It's how these teams are weeding out kids. Now, how do foreign kids get involved in this? Does a team, say, like the Flyers, draft a kid from Podunk, wherever, fucking Czechoslovakia, and say, okay, we have this kid, who wants him in major juniors?
Yeah, well, see, then that becomes like I think they have a European draft. Okay. And every team is allowed 2 foreign imports.
So 2 Russians, basically.
Yeah. Which, of course, Don Cherry is vehemently against. He has been for, since they brought it in, 15 years ago.
What, just because it's a Canadian league, he wants Canadian kids playing in it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've read things about that, and I mean, like you said, it dates back.
He just said it on Coach's Corner again, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's where I heard of it.
Twitter blew up, and they're all calling him a racist and everything else, and it's well, no. Oh, it's just Trump not let the illegals in. Well, no, we're not talking it. I mean, in that case, it's you're leaving a war-torn country and it's life and death. I mean, we're settled down here making the comparison. I mean, the kid over in Russia thought if the Saskatoon Blades don't let him come over, he has to quit and go work in the gulag. I mean, no, he can play in the Russian league. It's not.
Yeah.
What Cherry's thing is okay, so they bring these 2 kids over and they play. Well, here's a local kid that dreamed his whole life of playing with this team, and now he gets cut for Sergey.
Yeah. And
I can see Cherry's point. At the same time,
I do too.
Yeah, and at the same time, I can see the league's point. Well, we want the best junior players for the best competition, and I think okay, I get it, but I can see what Cherry's saying too. Yeah. That's another thing. I'm gonna fucking little tirade here, but I will say this: everybody goes on and on about how Cherry hates Russians, and he's a racist. No, idiots. He doesn't hate Russian people. He hates the Russian style of hockey, or Swedish style of hockey. It's the brand of hockey they play, not the people, you morons. But whatever.
Hey, he might just hate Russians too. He's allowed to.
Maybe, but I know.
Has he ever said that? I don't hate the people, I just hate the way they play hockey?
Well, that's what he's talking about, because he doesn't hate Ovechkin.
Well, and to his point too,
many times he's praised Matt Sundin many times. It's your style of play.
And to his point too, Perry Maple Syrup getting ready to play, and that could be the best time of his life. And chances are, Sergey, if he was going to get drafted to a major junior team, he's going to play in the NHL anyhow. So you are maybe, in his eyes, robbing a kid of that opportunity to have, that moment in his life where, oh, I played for the Barrie Colts, or I fucking, I won a game for, whoever. And
yeah, I like Ovechkin and Malkin and them. They never played major junior.
Shit, no, they didn't.
They stayed over in Russia. So it's not like you have to come here to get drafted.
Right, right. I think I know Columbus has a kid playing. I forget who the fuck it's for. Armorand or some shit like that. But he was playing in Russia last year, and I think maybe it's for the scouts over here to get a closer look at what they have too. And
I think an NHL team would want their guy. They'd want him playing here.
Exactly. Because
major junior is better than the Russian league.
Right.
Yeah.
So I see points on both sides, but it's Cherry's also fucking got a Canadian flag tattooed on his chest, so he kind of has to say that shit. And he's not the only one thinking it.
I can see people from other countries hating him. I always just laugh when Canadians hate him. It's he is sticking up for Canada. I don't know why that makes him bad, but some of his stuff's a little, Don gets goofy. I'm not going to sit here and I agree with everything he says, because I certainly don't, and I can see why people don't like him. But there's a lot of misconceptions about what he says too. Because it has to fit the narrative, right?
Right. Don Cherry knows who he is, and
Oh yeah, and he won't apologize. And yeah, he says some stuff that's probably out of bounds sometimes. Well, even on the last Coach's Corner, I think he was talking about how climate change is a myth and all this, and it's okay, Don, settle down.
Oh, man.
But it's I get it, but people, it's like anything. That's what they want to push, and he's a racist, and he's this, and he's that, and I don't know why they would I always that was my argument with Big Rand way back when it was like, well, he hates Americans. Well, his wife's American, and so are his kids. So I don't. No, he doesn't. But it's.
And Don Cherry's not 19 years old, so he's going to have a different idea of Canadian hockey. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like you said. There's a narrative and a place for him. There's plenty of old Canadian dudes that are like, "Fuck yeah, Don Cherry." So.
I mean, the majority, like you said, it's the highest rated segment in Hockey Night in Canada is his 5 minutes.
And everyone knows your country's super racist anyhow. So who cares?
Yeah, but he's racist, but yet he's never said anything against people. It's the style of play, but people don't want to read into that, or they don't want to investigate that part. So it's just easier to say he's a racist.
Well, it's an unfortunate time that you can't have an opinion that can even be touched with the word racism, because they'll say it and they'll run with it and it won't matter.
Like I said, people forget the millions and millions he's raised for cancer research and the amount of attention that he's brought to first responders and to the military, and people always forget that. And then above all, I always laugh on, because you see it every Saturday. You watch every Saturday night on Twitter, Don Cherry will trend for a while. Yeah. Because now all of a sudden everybody's going to whine about what he said on Coach's Corner because he was me. I always like the one where he's clueless and doesn't know hockey. Oh, yeah. He was the NHL Coach of the Year.
Right.
Like I said, 5th highest winning percentage of all time.
Right.
He played pro hockey for 20 years. No, yeah, he wouldn't have any idea what's going on. Plus, his kid is like one of the head guys for like the Central Scouting Bureau. So Don Cherry is at Ontario Hockey League games with his kid every night.
No shit.
Yeah, he's at you ask anybody around Ontario, he's at rinks every night. He goes out with his kid. So he was talking about Stamkos when Stamkos was playing midget.
Damn.
So it's like, oh, he's clueless. He doesn't get it. Are you serious? He's watched more hockey than you ever will in a lifetime,
Right.
And it's just like, and again, I don't agree with everything he says, and he has his own opinion. Like I said, it's a little out there, but to dismiss him as he doesn't know,
it's because he wears the clown suit that I think people, because I was guilty of it too. I just wouldn't listen to him. I'd be like, what the fuck is that guy? And then, but then when you actually start to listen to him, and like, I especially started listening to him when Big Rand was having his say about it, and the guy makes a lot of sense a lot of the time.
Well, that and his suits have probably cost more than most people's mortgage payment.
Yeah, so. No shit. And another thing he does too is that the prospects game is a huge deal for those kids. I mean, because not everybody. I mean, especially here in America, are watching. They're not paying the fucking whatever how many dollars it is to watch the WHL for the whole year. So that's like a showcase game where you get to see a lot of talent, and that's because of him that game happens.
Yeah, well, it was all started. Yeah, Sherry Orr, him and Bobby Orr with the coaches. Yeah,
dude.
And it's gone on for years. Oh, like Terry Ryan and all those guys, but tons of guys have gone piss and net. All of them have played in it.
Oh yeah,
been a bunch of fights too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was glad to see Cunningham there this year, the guy that had passed out. Yes. Yeah, it was good to see. And dude's a real prick, and he's got that guy on the bench with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just the players all, like I said, it's he's not everybody's flavor, and I understand that, but I think he's more.
Did you see those Bud Light lights? Or the Budweiser red lights or whatever the fuck they are?
I have 2 of them.
Dude, you do? Do they work well?
I don't know. I've never hooked them up.
You motherfucker. Did you see the Don...
Are you looking for one?
Yeah, man.
I have a bunch of people asking me about that. I have you and Dan from the Obey the Puck show, and somebody else was asking me. Steve out there in California.
Yeah.
He's got to show up in Vegas. If he doesn't show up in Vegas and buy me some booze, he ain't getting shit. So.
You hear that, Steven?
Yeah, you've been tuning in there, 8-8. Yeah. Better show up. But, actually, well, I'll see how that goes. You'll have to have me on after my trip.
Oh, I definitely will.
If I run into him down there, I'll have to, we'll share some stories.
I definitely will. What I'm saying is these red lights, so they activate whatever, you plug it in your fucking phone or some shit and it goes off with the goal.
No, okay. Well, it's like a plastic cup and underneath is like a red deal. Okay, and it's got batteries in it or whatever. And apparently if you go onto the site or whatever, you can sync it up to your favorite team. So in your case, it would be the Pittsburgh Penguins.
You motherfucker, right? Dude.
Yeah, so okay, it'd be Columbus. So every time they score, all of a sudden your cup will light up and start fucking flashing the red light, like the goal light, every time they score.
No, I did see.
Yeah, you could be sitting there and it could be sitting in your cupboard. All of a sudden they'll snipe one, and all of a sudden it'll look like fucking code red going on.
Yeah, the Mothman's in your cupboard all of a sudden. They made a Don Cherry one. That's why I was saying it. That has a funky suit with grapes on it or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Mine was just you bought a friggin' case of Budweiser and it was in there. So, I didn't know they made a Don Cherry one. Actually, you know what was really cool? Way back when, this had to be in the 90s, they made, Molson Canadian made mini kegs.
Hell yeah. Like a pony keg.
And they called them Bubbas. and there was 4 different Bubbas, and each one was painted a different Don Cherry suit.
Holy shit.
And it blew the dog on it and shit. Oh, yeah.
Dude. I'm gonna have to Google and see if there's pictures. There has to be pictures of that on the internet, right?
Oh yeah, well I got one. I'll take a picture of it. Oh no, it's in my parents' basement.
Dude.
No, I kept it. I cut the top off, used it for a piggy bank or something. But it was Don Cherry, just Bubbas. But they did a whole bunch. They did ones with NHL jerseys on them, and actually that was a real cool promotion Molson Canadian did.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that. I didn't know they did a Bud Light Don Cherry thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. We have to talk about the goalie interference, and then we're going to get into the Department of Safety here. And I wanted to have you on specifically for that.
I'm going to lose my shit about that, but okay, yeah.
So after
okay, go ahead. I'm cutting you off. I'm going to go. Remind me to come back to talk about the media and that Bell thing. We'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
Oh, the Bell Let's Talk thing?
Yeah. It kind of ties in with that. I want to ramble about something for a sec, but
okay.
Ask me about goaltender interference. We'll do this first. I'm screwing you up.
You're fine. You're the champ, man.
Oh, and I'm also supposed to bring up Curry asked me he wants you to talk about the fantasy draft.
Dude,
your fantasy pool. He said, make sure to ask him.
He's a real dirty motherfucker, dude. The fucking guys behind me drafting, I swear, half the league knew what the fuck they were doing, and the other half, I swear to God, Curry paid them off or had old buddies of his from Flint come and fucking shake him down. Because 3 rounds in a row, he got Sidney Crosby, fucking Austin Matthews, and some other dick. His fucking team is unbeatable.
Well, that's you told me. I remember when it first happened, you were like, these are the guys he got. And I said, well, Jesus Christ, who are you guys picking?
That's what, dude.
I said, I got to go in this draft next year if these are who you guys are taking.
Well, the one guy picked, his first 3 picks in the league were 3 goalies.
You got to kick that guy out.
Oh my God, dude, I almost fucking screamed. And then I'm wondering, are the fucking computers drafting or what the hell's happening? And I swear to God, Curry was picking before me 3 or 4 rounds in a row. And of course he's the only fucking Canadian in the league, and he's fucking I think he's 11-2. I beat him 1 week, so ask him about that.
There you go. Is there money on the line here?
No, there's a championship belt though.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I was going to say, if there's money on the line, don't let him pay you in Canadian. Yeah, I could see Curry trying to get away with that. All of a sudden, he sent somebody a sack full of loonies or something.
I didn't even fucking realize I was down at the soda machine trying to get a Coca-Cola, and the fucking lady at the gas station gave me a bunch of Canadian quarters. The fucking machine wouldn't take it, so now I'm stuck with these dumb quarters with some fucking lady on them.
Well, it stiff you too, because it's exchange. It's probably worth about 14 cents.
It probably cost me money to exchange it.
Oh, shit, dude. I went to the bank here because I got to get some American money for Vegas. Oh, son of a bitch. I went $3,000. I think I gave them 3,000 Canadian. I think they gave me 2,300 American. I'm down $700. I haven't even played a casino game yet.
All right. So during the All-Star break, the league sent out a fucking thing to all the team or to the refs saying, listen, the goalie interference, we're not going to call it like that. So basically stick to what you made on the ice, the call on the ice. So basically this room of guys we're paying in Toronto, they're irrelevant now. So the big how-to-do was Detroit versus Florida the other night. Mrazek's in the crease. Huberdeau comes over there. He's fucking screening him. The shot's fired upon. Huberdeau backs up into Mrazek, knocks him loose, taps it, turns around, fires the biscuit in. Game over. For all, I mean, I think it put them up either 3-2 or 4-3. That's no fucking matter. Detroit's coach Blashill goes fucking berserk. It was an interference. It's whatever. That's it. That's the call. That's the rule. You can't fuck with the goalie when he's in that blue crease, right?
Yep.
And that's, as far as I know, since the dawn of that paint, them starting to paint that thing blue, that's been the rule. But it blows my mind that they can just decide halfway through the season to be like, "Hey, we're not doing that anymore." It doesn't. To kick Blashill out of the game for it, and then also for Detroit, it was a must win. It was an Atlantic game, and they're in fourth. But I mean, the Metro's killing it, so they don't really have a shot at the playoffs. But they definitely don't now, dropping that out. And have you seen them do this before? Just kind of change the rules midway?
Oh yeah, the NHL. Yeah, they do. I mean. Way back when, no. But, I mean, remember when Avery did that thing in front of Brodeur, all of a sudden, the next day, they make a rule up. And, I can't remember what it was. I think the OHL did? I don't know. They made a fighting rule, I think, right? Like 10 games into the year once. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're making rules like in the middle of a season, it's like, I don't know, can you make your friggin' league look more bush? I don't know.
That's exactly right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I said this on the Beta Puck show a while ago. To me, anyway, it seems they've just given, because everybody, this ref doing this and this ref, they've given the refs just like way too much to call.
Yeah,
and they just put way too much on their plate. Now it's just and there's really and the rules have so much. Well, it's like. It's so discretionary.
Yeah, it's vague. I mean, because I've seen
vague. That's yeah.
I've seen that exact goal not be called and have been fine with it. But if you're going to call it and okay, so get rid of the challenge then, and then get rid of the fucking war room in Toronto, because at the end of the day, just let the refs fucking call it and let's go. There's no reason to even stop and look back at it then.
Well, I mean, Jesus, I can remember playing and everything when there was 2 linesmen and a ref. Well, now you got there's 4 guys out there now. You shouldn't be missing anything. I mean,
there's a whole other team of just refs.
Well, exactly. But I think then the other problem is it's like, okay, well, Jim here has called 3. I better call 1. I mean, I've seen him in the few times I've watched, but I mean, I've seen him call a hook and call. The guy who called it's 2. He's 2 zones back. The ref in the back end's calling some penalty. Meanwhile, the other ref standing right beside it never called nothing. Well, what are we doing here? I don't know. It just.
I think you said it best when you said it makes the league look bush.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the NFL changing rules midway through the fucking season. It doesn't happen.
No, well, even now, remember at the start of the year here, we're going to do the big face-off penalty thing. And, of course, the first preseason game had 72 friggin' minor penalties in it or something.
Yeah.
And whatever. And I noticed that, I don't know, do they call that in it? Are they calling that now?
You don't. I think the players, once you get that first warning, they're kind of just not really even, the face-off is just kind of almost irrelevant. It's just okay, whatever. You take it. I'll get it next time. So if that first guy gets the warning, you almost guarantee that the other team is going to win the face-off. I had a guy on Twitter the other day tell me that face-offs don't matter at all.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was like, because there's all this trade rumor.
That's the same guy that says Don Cherry doesn't know anything about hockey.
Yeah. There's all this talk about Rick Nash coming back to Columbus, and
I don't think you want that.
No, not at all. And I said, why would we want someone older, not as good as faceoffs, less physical, and on the decline? Gets worse every year.
I was going to say, if this was 2009, that'd be a sweet pickup.
But. Oh fuck yeah, it would be. That's that would have been the chance not to lose him back then. But then he goes, faceoffs don't really have any correlation with a successful team. And I said, dude, that cannot be true. That just cannot be a real thing. Yeah. So I looked up the top 5 teams in faceoffs this year, and I think 4 of them are playoff teams, and one of them's a bubble. So it's
That's why coaches, when they get the face off in their own end or whatever, the personnel's always switching out, but blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But no, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Patrice Bergeron is not a valuable player because he has an 83% face off, whatever the fuck it is. What the thing is, and it happens on Twitter a lot, is somebody will say something and then they just expect nothing to be looked up after that. So my new favorite thing is to just
there's presidents that do
that. To just pull up the stats and be like, well, here's the actual number. So you're wrong. And then it just ends there like, oh, you didn't think I'm on a computer. I mean, I'm not just going to oh, hey, he said that. That must be the God's honest truth because Terry O'Reilly said it to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, it's like that one day who was the other day he was talking, he was like, oh, yeah, the Pittsburgh, because he was mad, of course, that the Penguins have Reeves, because that's the reason for all the Penguins' problems this year, and blah, blah, blah. The Penguins, their scouts must suck.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm looking, you have Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Fleury, all these guys. Well, they're all homegrown guys. They were all drafted. I mean, not that it took a genius to draft Crosby, but I mean, all this. And then I'm like, well, scouts don't just draft. They actually watch other teams. And when there's trades, they talk about it and blah, blah, blah. I know that. I'm thinking, clearly you don't, because then you wouldn't have said that. But
I'm not a fan of Pittsburgh by any means, but there's one thing you can't say about that team is that they don't scout well and they don't promote within well, because anytime they trade somebody away, you're going, oh shit, they just traded 2 forwards and a top defenseman this season. What the fuck are they going? They're going to call somebody up from Wilkes-Barre because they're so fucking deep because they scout so goddamn well.
Well, and I was looking at their draft because I'm like, what's this guy? Because I'm like, again, I don't watch, right? So I'm like, well, okay, I'll go back and look. Well, it's like and Pittsburgh, it's not exactly like they've been winning the draft lottery lately. I mean, they're picking last every round, right? Because, hey, when you win cups, that's what happens, But I'm looking at all their guys are still in college or whatever, or else they're averaging a point a game in the minors. It's like, okay, dude, what more do you want? It's it was just.
And they just won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah, exactly. The back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. Yeah, what would they know about personnel?
Oh, God.
Oh, it's just, and this Reeves, and, they could have had whatever, was it Kalon or whatever, whoever that Blues took when they traded Reeves.
Cullen?
I'm like, they go on and on, it was the steal of the century. I'm like, some Russian with 5 goals in the American League this year. What a steal. Well, Reeves has 5 points, and dummy! It's he's the toughest guy in the league.
Yeah, and Sidney Crosby.
He's the best at something.
Sidney Crosby's sleeping better than he ever has in his career.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the thing with these with Reeves, he is the best tough guy in the league.
He is.
Yeah, so so if you want, last time I checked, if you want the best at something, you have to give something up for it, But these morons just look at the first 3 columns in the stats, and it's no, it goes beyond that, you idiot. But,
wait till you read a quote I have for you from BlueShirtsNation.com about Mr. McLeod.
Oh, I was already fighting with him, but okay.
Oh, my goodness. So this is going to go into the next thing pretty well, but before we start the next segment, I have to apologize to the Bugard family. I misspoke last week when I was having a conversation with Chris Banatee about Bell Let's Talk, and had mentioned that Derek Bugard had committed suicide, and you were kind enough to send me a message saying actually he overdosed. It wasn't a suicide, so I do apologize for misspeaking there, and that's my bad.
Well, yeah, with that Bell Let's Talk, it was all mental health and everything, and I'm never quite sure why he's included. Everybody talks about Belak and Rippon, of course, and Matador and stuff like that, but I never understood why he's included, because he never had mental health issues. But
he just had pill problems.
Well, he had pain pills and mixed with alcohol, and it was just a unfortunate deal. But he never had any mental health issues.
So I wonder, that's a very interesting thing then, because he's always almost like the unofficial spokesman for that Bell Let's Talk. You always see pictures of Boogie on that shit.
Yeah, I take back. I have never heard of him having mental health. Maybe he did, but I don't remember reading any stories about him having mental health. I know he had the pain problem, but the pill problem. But I mean, that's obviously an addiction thing, not a mental thing. So but I don't know, and I'm not gonna go out on. Well, now I'm on a podcast saying it for everyone to hear. But I was gonna say I wasn't gonna tweet it, but because I'm not quite sure. But I never heard that, and maybe like I said, somebody out there listening can correct me. But I don't think he had mental health issues.
Now there are some people that do have mental health issues, and they are the fuck boys of the week this week, and that's New York Ranger fans.
Yes.
So we're going to start with McLeod and then just go through. I got a couple of suspensions that have been handed out by your favorite George Peros in the recent couple weeks here. Mm-hmm. But unbeknownst to me, Cody McLeod was waived by Nashville. I don't know. I must have been drunk for a week or something, but I didn't even see that he had signed with New York on January 25th. And so Cody McLeod, 10-year pro, fucking over 70 goals in his career, over 1,500 penalty minutes, and that's kind of his job, by the way. Yep. Over 124 NHL points, 15 games played, and a goal during that cup run last year. Not obviously they lost in the cup final, but for a fourth-line guy like that and an enforcer guy like that to get 15 games in a playoff run, that's impressive in its own right. But so he's on the Rangers, and they end up playing Nashville, I think, a little over a week after he joined New York.
So essentially his first or second game with the team.
Yeah, I think it was his second game, to be honest with you. And Philip Forsberg absolutely crushes Jimmy Vesey behind the net in the Nashville zone. Vesey just released the puck on a pass. No call on the hit, but Forsberg crushed him, and then he ended up getting 3 games later for this hit. Stating that it was an interference, and that he was elbowing Jimmy Vesey's head. The hit might have been a little late, but besides that, I was okay with it. No call on the ice. Later on in that game, Emelin, who has a little bit of a track record, just fucking murdered one of the Stahl brothers into the boards there.
Yes,
I don't remember what Emelin ended up getting suspended. Did he even get suspended?
No. I don't think
so no suspension, no call, or did he get a boarding call?
I believe so.
And at that point,
and I did laugh because everybody was talking about targeting the head and everything.
Yeah.
Well, Stahl was falling when Emelin went to hit him. Right?
Right.
Is that the one where he they're going into the corner and Stahl kind of trips and kind of starts falling, and so now he's falling and the guy hits him. Well, how could it be targeting the head when the guy's head's at your hip?
Exactly. Emelin couldn't control that. He lost his skate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's that, but everybody else targeting the head. Well, because he hit him in the head. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not targeting the head because the guy, his head's at the 3-foot mark. That's a great point. I didn't even think of it that way because the hit is vicious, and you're like, oh shit, that's a brutal hit. It's a brutal sport. Yeah. But everything looks preventable in slow motion.
Oh, exactly.
So that's what these nerds on Twitter, they look at the GIF or GIF or whatever the hell it's called, GIF, I think.
I think it's a GIF.
And it's in slow-mo, and they're like, yeah, see?
Yes.
Yeah, idiot. Do you realize how fast these guys are going? And it's like, so they're going top speed. This guy, you've committed to the hit, so now you're coming in, and this guy trips. Well, now his head is at your crotch level. And you drill him into the board. Well, it's targeting the head. Well, how? No, it's not like he.
It's fucking. It's physics. I mean, they're two fucking objects in motion. And one changed its path, the other one kept its path. It's going to smash it into the wall. He didn't target his head. That's why there's no suspension on Emelin. He gets a bad rep because he's Emelin. That's why people are upset with that. Because he's been that pest in the past, and he's had hard hits. A hard-hitting guy in the NHL will be targeted. He will be blacklisted by fans, and you're doing your job. You won't see these guys much longer, so kudos. But I think...
Well, if I was a player, like I said, why hit anybody? All you're going to do is you're just costing yourself money.
Exactly.
It's suspension. Every hit now is looked at. Oh, you see it, it's like, I don't know, was that necessary?
Well, yeah.
That's predatorial. Well, every hit's predatorial, idiot. But why bother?
The game was 1-0 at that point, Nashville, when he crushed Stahl into the boards.
Yep.
So I don't know if this was before the game or after the game, but Blue Shirts Nation, because everybody was super upset with Cody McLeod after the game. First off, they're mad that they signed him, and then they're even more mad at him because he didn't do what Cody McLeod's supposed to do that game.
Well, what's that?
He's supposed to crush people with his fists and hit everybody and stick up for his teammates.
Yeah, well, see, but these same fucking idiots. Well, okay, so McLeod goes out there, I'm going to avenge him. Is Forsberg going to fight him?
Fuck no.
No. Oh, so he grabs Forsberg and gives him a couple lefts and rights, and Forsberg covers up and whatever.
Instigated.
So now McLeod gets a 5-minute major and a game misconduct.
Yeah.
But now all you morons will cry because Nashville will go and score 2 or 3 goals in the power play.
Yeah.
Well, so what's he supposed to do? Nobody in Nashville is going to fight him. He can't go and do anything because you can't with the rules. This is the other thing these idiots don't get. It's like, no, the rules have killed the enforcer. It's not that he's not doing anything. But okay, so you have a coach that is like, I don't care. He's willing for you to take a suspension. Maybe. But this is his second game. He's a bubble player. He doesn't know how Vigneault's going to react. So is he going to risk his job to, do I just go out there? Do I grab the first Ranger I see and pump him?
Uh-huh.
Or do I start running around and essentially, what they're eventually going to just call a major on him and kick him out?
Yeah, and
okay,
like you said, ultimately
is this what I do? I've been here. I've been in New York for about 6 minutes now. I'm not sure how this coach is going to react to me.
Bye, I have no job.
He's completely handcuffed. What do you want him to do?
Right, and these were guys, and I don't know. So I ended up texting Parks about it and saying, hey, what was it like being traded and then seeing those guys that you had just won a Stanley Cup with, And it wasn't even so much a week later like Cody just had to do. He said there's so much that goes into a career that people don't see that, you don't even know what happened to Cody that night or that day to where you're asking him to do, what he's supposed to do. And like you said, it could have been his job if he went out there, got suspended, and then he's out, and then no one picks him up. Look at Jared Bull. He's sitting in the American League right now.
Yep.
So there's so much that goes into that job that say if Jimmy Vesey goes out and doesn't score a goal one night, he's not being written off as a huge piece of shit. But if Cody McLeod doesn't stand up for somebody when he's not even on the ice and with the instigator rules the way they are, then he's garbage. But you can't put it in that way because you just don't know. It's such new water that he was in that.
Well, that was the thing. Like back in the day, it was like, back in the day, that wouldn't have happened with McSorley playing. Well, no, it wouldn't, because McSorley would just go grab someone and beat the shit out of him, and they would just give him 2 minutes for instigating, and then there was no suspension and no nothing, and life goes on.
Right.
Like I said, now if McLeod had grabbed somebody and pumped him, it's like, they'll give him 10 games.
And I'm sure there's somebody that McLeod would have loved to fucking rock on that team. I'm sure.
I guarantee there's somebody. Every team's got everybody who's ever played sports. Have you liked every one of your teammates?
Fuck no.
There's always one guy or a couple guys you don't like.
Exactly.
I'm sure he wouldn't have mind taking a piece out of someone. But that's the thing. So one, that's his old team. Not even old team from a few years ago, old team 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And two, Nashville doesn't have anybody that's going to fight him.
A team he just went to the Stanley Cup with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A team that really became a close, tight-knit team in that run. And no one knows. There's no microphone on the bench. Vigneault might have looked down at him and said, "Don't you fucking do a thing."
Exactly. Oh, for sure. These lots of these coaches have put. Actually, speaking of Parker, and I'll have to ask him. You'll have to ask him this, but I can remember. I believe the story was in his rookie year, like in preseason against whoever, he took I believe it was a cross-checking major. Like he got mad at somebody or was trying to get him to fight, and he cross-checked him and got a 5-minute major or whatever. Well, Hartley said, "We can't trust you," and that's when he got sent down to Hershey the next day and spent the whole year there. Well, so what do you think McLeod's doing? Right,
and it was and New York's a bubble team right now. It was 1-0 at the time when the Emlyn hit took place, which I think was after the VC hit. That's a big 2 points for the Rangers. That there was a must win game, and the quote that I read afterwards. This is the kind of shit that has no place being out in the planet, but this is from BlueShirtsNation.com, and this says McLeod is a useless waste of space on the ice and on a roster. And this is written by a hockey publication that follows the New York Rangers, about a 10-year veteran of the NHL.
Yeah, so McLeod. Yeah, so the guy he plays minimal minutes for his whole career. He probably averaged about 8 minutes a game.
I would say 9 max.
Yeah. Okay. You look at his stats. He averages a point every 5 games. Well, I would say that's pretty darn good for a guy that plays maybe 8 minutes, gets no special teams, gets no power play time, has to run around and basically protect everyone. He's in the top 10 in hits per game right now.
I think he had 8 hits in that fucking game.
Yeah, I was looking. No, this is true. I looked up the stats. He's in the top 10 for hits per game. I think he's 3rd or something in fights.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd say he's pretty darn good.
And he's
averaging a point every 5 games. And he has a clue what's going on.
He just added 2 fights the other night, fighting that fucking monster McLeod.
Yes.
And McQuaid.
Well, and it's not like the Rangers were rich in toughness. I mean, they're softer than baby shit. So so now you got a guy, and they still whine. Okay, so it's like, who would you like to replace him with? Who would you rather have? That's what I'd like to ask these guys. Oh, and they'll say, Yuri. Oh yeah, because what's he gonna do? He won't be scared of his own shadow.
Yeah.
He might. Oh, he'll get 6 more points than McLeod will. Oh well, goddamn, going to the playoffs now. Are you kidding me?
It's the same fucking people that were talking shit about Tanner Glass last year, and then he gets 3 points in 2 games, and it's, oh, holy shit, Tanner Glass is God. I love him. He's selling fucking jerseys in Manhattan. Yeah. It's a fickle fan base, and consider yourself lucky to have Cody McLeod on your fucking team, because I'm sure a lot of them boys in the room are.
Oh, the players all like it.
I'm sure.
Guaranteed they do.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like you said, they were one of the before McLeod, they were just as soft as Columbus, and Columbus is a goddamn soft serve ice cream soft. And it's not going to end up working. The league still has a little bit of fight left in it, and these teams just aren't. I mean, yeah, Pittsburgh won back-to-back, whatever, but Hornquist can be a little prick sometimes, and with Reeves now, that they've even gone the other way to kind of be like, okay, that's we were getting by the skin of our teeth there.
Well, that was the thing. Like, Pittsburgh was soft, but I mean, their star players paid a price for it.
Yeah, he's going to have a shorter career, and he's missed a whole season and 2 halves of other seasons.
Yeah,
and
and they could have easily lost the cup last year to Nashville,
right?
Who was second in fights.
And Kelly Chase, you've heard him talk about. He goes, Sidney Crosby had more concussions, in a year than I ever had in my entire career, and I fought 50 times a year.
Yep.
It's just it's not all right.
Well, if you listen to that St. Louis Blues podcast with I can't remember the host. But it's got Jamie Rivers and Darren Kimball on it, former players and former Blues players.
Dude, Jamie Rivers kills it, man. He is so good.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, both of them are awesome. Yeah, and it's like, but Rivers will flat up getting rid of Reeves was brutal, and they'll go on and St. Louis is like, you'll talk about them they're suffering from it right now, not having them. Tarasenko, well, your Chris last week was talking about it.
Yeah, just had a conversation about last week with Chris.
That was a great episode, by the way.
Thank you. Chris killed it.
Chris stole the show.
He did. I didn't do shit.
Say it was petty theft, but it was good.
I was hammered and just pressed record, basically.
No, he was good. No, but he made a lot. Well, his big school words. Yeah, Mr. Degree there. Yeah, using his big school words. I had to thesaurus out. Before I could understand the episode. I
wanted to tell him after the show if he came back on and used those words again, I'm going to fucking fly down to St. Louis and kick his ass.
Yeah. Oh, I felt dumber after listening. I'm like, God. Yeah. Now I know why I work outside and it's minus 40. Yeah.
Did you see your buddy Gudas do his WWE body slam on Palmieri the other day?
Is that the one where he didn't get anything and everybody was crying about it?
Yeah, so he jumps out.
That one where he kind of jumped around him or something?
He jumped out of the way of his teammate and ended up crushing Palmieri.
I kind of saw that. It was like, and everybody's like screaming about it. And it's like, no, you could tell he didn't really mean it. Because believe me, if you ever, I don't know if they've ever watched Gudas hit and play. I mean, did you really think he was trying to do that?
He tried to cut a dude's head off once. If he wanted to body slam the guy, he would have fucking body slammed him.
Oh yeah, like it would have been like the rock bottom there with the Rock or something if he wanted to do it. But that was.
I thought it was more comical than anything. It was kind of like, oh, what the fuck?
Again, it's the speed of everything, and I don't think people they don't understand how fast everything's moving. Like I said, everything in slow motion looks like, oh, he didn't need to do that. That could have been avoided. That could have been this. He's got to know.
Yeah.
No, when it's moving that fast and guys are like going that fast, you can't.
That's what I'm trying to do now is not watch replays in slow-mo, just because it skews the perception of it so much.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
We've got Mr. Larson from Buffalo, and I couldn't believe this, 4th Line Voice. He gets 2 games for a cross-check on Vincent Trocheck after Trocheck just cross-checked a teammate of his. And you can see that he goes to hit him across the chest or whatever. It slides up on him and hits Trocheck in the face. I'm not even sure I would have called a penalty on the play, but he got fucking 2 whole games, no pay from the NHL Department of Safety.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that?
I didn't actually.
Oh my God, dude! Tonight, go look it up. Larson from Buffalo on Trocheck, and it's literally. Trocheck goes, cross-checks, I think McCabe or whatever his fucking name is for Buffalo. They kind of get a little tussle and he skates away. And Larson comes over to be like, hey, don't fuck with my boy. Gives him a little how do you do. And I'm telling you, when I say that, I don't think I would have even put him in the box. And then to read that he got 2 games, I'm getting kind of shocked now. Like, it seems, and I read somewhere that they're not taking people's names into place until after they go, okay, this was the hit, this is the suspension. Oh, it's Brad Marchand elbowing, add 5 games. I just don't think that's true.
Oh, I think it's definitely – well, it's funny because I read all this stuff online that everybody's knocking player safety and, Peros isn't doing it. I'm like, well, to me, Peros is going like completely overboard on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he was told – because I can guarantee you, if you sat down privately with him just over beers, he's rolling his eyes at like, oh, this is just horse shit, and like so soft. But I mean, he's got marching orders, right? And I mean, and he needs, I don't want to say he needs the money, but you know what I'm saying? He needs the job or whatever. So I mean, he's just doing what he's told.
Yeah, you don't apply for a job you don't want.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, that's what they want, and I always notice though. It certainly seems, and maybe I'm wrong again, but it's like when it comes to like hits or stuff like that, or if it's like a tough sort of hockey play, he doesn't really suspend anybody. Or they don't seem to happen. But when it's like almost like a stick thing or kind of like ticky tacky, all of a sudden they're getting a bunch of games. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Like I don't know if it's.
If the stick's involved at all, it's 2 games, it seems like.
Yeah. Like, they definitely want to get rid of the stick, which is fine. You know, stick shit was always brutal. But it's like, Yeah, but I was saying that, and I said that to Dan on when we were talking the Obey the Puck show guys. I hate when they use the term hockey play. And New Age fans use the term hockey play because I can tell you, I can guarantee my idea of a hockey play is 10,000 miles different than what some New Age with Broadway blue shirts deem as a hockey play. So it's like, yeah, don't say that because, I mean, I'm used to Jacques Mayotte fighting rink security or Sean Atosky climbing to a different penalty box. That was my extreme. Rado Gudas or whatever is an extreme to me. I'm just like, oh, okay.
That fighting the security guard video, that shit that's one of my favorite videos on your YouTube, man.
Well, how about the one I sent you the other day with Serge LaBelle when he's got the chair and he's flinging it?
Yeah, like, so if you're used to seeing that, like, and then now you see Larson for Buffalo get 2 games for cross-checking in retaliation. So I'm sure that's why he got the penalty because it was, after Trocheck had done it to a teammate. So it was like, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's 2 games.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or else the nerd. Well, the best thing is we scored 3 goals in the power play. Oh, yeah. You loser. You're just happy that your guy turtled and took a bunch of shots because you ended up winning on the power play. Oh, yeah.
Oh, speaking of turtling, Taylor Hall for the New Jersey Devils absolutely crushes Alex Burrows, the Ottawa Senators. Crushes him. Legal hit. Yeah. Burrows gets up. The Devils are on their offensive rush, and he, taps fucking Hall on the pants, says, "Hey, fucker, you're not, you can't just do that to me. I'm not going to allow it." Keeps fucking with him. Hall's got his fucking gloves fucking sewn onto his hands.
Yeah,
and then there's a skirmish in front of the net, and Hall goes after one of his teammates of Burrows. So then Burrows comes over and starts fucking starting shit up with him again. And then his gloves are fucking sewn on. These guys are so afraid of getting that 10-minute that now it's just, fucking leave him on, and then they can't say I dropped him. So Burrows takes him to the ground, fucking is kneeing him in the back of the head. He gets 10 games for this exchange. Definitely because it was on Taylor Hall. And anybody that looks like that, it's that Sidney Crosby effect. If you have that pretty boy NHL, and you touch him, you're going to get a little bit more than the usual. But I watched the video and I went 10. Like that's when Luke Witkowski got his 10 games. Like that's a lot of games for a lot of nothing.
Well, Witkowski or whatever, that's a written black and white rule.
Right.
You leave the bench, it's 10. So that wasn't someone's call or a decision. That was just black and white.
And I've been saying that too. I think a lot of these suspensions that George has handed out are kind of like, well, that's Rule 2047. I'm not changing it. It says 2 games here. You did it. Here's the video proof. Fuck off.
Yeah. Because like I said, I guarantee if you talk to him privately, the majority of suspensions he's handed out, he probably didn't want to give him anything.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably...
suck it up, just fight him next shift. That would be his attitude, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think...
Or his attitude watching that Burrows Hall thing is like, well, why didn't Hall just fight him?
Yeah, right? Yeah, why didn't Halls drop him when he fucking was sitting there?
I didn't realize Burrows was Tony Twist all of a sudden. Like, what are you scared of, Hall? Like, Jesus.
No kidding.
I don't understand some of these guys. It's like, just fight them already. Like, what are you guys scared of?
I think they've been the way that the culture has changed from the juniors up until now, that Taylor Hall might not have ever been punched in the face before. So Alex Burrows does seem like George Peros when he's looking at him. Like, because that first fist fight you're in it is scary. I mean, but
I guarantee Hall's been in one. He had to have been in one.
Oh, I'm sure he has too. But
you know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I get it if it was like Cody McLeod. Well, yeah, or Reeves chased them around. Well, yeah. I don't want you fighting. I wouldn't want Taylor Hall fighting that. But I mean, Burrows. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and as far as Ottawa goes, it's not like Borowitzki's coming after him. It's you'll probably get spun around a couple times. He'll punch you in the visor, and it's over with. And then you look like a hero because you fucking it's New Jersey, and you went, you laid the dude out first. He came at you, and then you beat his ass. Like, come on, man. Like, I would want that.
At least those guys are. You can just grab them and just throw them down. Then, if you don't want to throw a punt, you're strong enough, you can. No one's saying you got to go toe to toe with the guy.
Yeah,
it's not Marasti Basse. I mean,
Oh God. God.
Just wrestle them down or something. It's just just show something.
I think.
Why does it always seem like these guys? It's I'm going to try to draw the call or something. It's just just suck it up, Nancy, and do it. Come on.
The old school of the guys. Stu Grimson and them guys. I think. 1, they liked sticking up for their team. 2, they were good at it. And 3, I think these guys they're showmen. They're entertainers. They know what Burroughs and Hall looked like the other night compared to Parker and Stu Grimson facing off, fucking looking at each other, knuckles up, fucking ready to go. There's a shit ton of people entered that rink and paid a bunch of money. So if at the end of the day, it is entertainment. It's a game. Your guys are playing a game of hockey. These, they are entertainers. I mean, go back to when the Colorado Avalanche played. Ask any fan, or even any fair weather Avalanche fan back in the day when Parker played. Who do they know? Joby Messier or Scott Parker? Right.
I guarantee it wasn't for all the goals Parker scored. So, yeah. Well, there's a reason they're outside of the. I remember Todd Ewan once said the most popular players on the team are the 3 Gs: the goal scorer, the goalie, and the goon. and it's true.
You can ask almost any person that's not even a casual hockey fan, but they remember Asham doing the fucking go to sleep. There's. Like you said, instead of laying there looking for the call, grab them, at least spin around, wrap it up. Give somebody their fucking money's worth at least.
With the way nowadays goes, all you have to do is look at them face to face and push and shove. Jesus, the refs break it up like it's a bunch of 3-year-olds on the playground.
Yeah. And then,
they'll be in there as soon as they see Taylor Hall pushing and shoving, they'll be in there so fast. You think the linesmen are going to just go up to him? Okay, boys, square it off. Yeah. Let's go.
And why
they're going to jump in there? Hell, you'll get one guy. Yeah, they got one guy jumping in, breaking up fights nowadays.
And why doesn't he know that in his head? They're not going to let him fucking touch me. And then I won't look like such a pussy laying the ice, getting my fucking face kneed into the ice because I can't. They'd stop it. Then you look like, oh man, they should have let Taylor go. Taylor would have fucked that guy up. You could make it look so much fucking better than what's happening. And it's
the mindset, man. Draw the call. I don't know. Actually, if people really want to see a knee to the head, look up Gord Donnelly versus Willie Plett. Then that's a knee to the head. I'll put it this way: Willie didn't wear a helmet. So you can see how that went.
Dude.
Yeah, that was a knee to the head.
Send me that video tonight.
I will, yep.
Hey, before we get off of here, bud.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying it happened.
Right. How do you feel tonight? The Winter Olympics, they're starting the open ceremony. That's why I got to get out of here. I'm a nerd for that shit. We did our little breakdown of the United States team, and like anything, there's a lot of negativity towards it. I wish these guys the best of luck. I didn't know a lot of the guys on the roster, and I wanted to do who would I have picked for the Olympics, but I feel like it was disrespectful, and I really do wish every man and woman in the United States Olympics the best of luck this year. The Paralympics as well. I know we have a member of the Parker's platoon, Ralph, out there going to fucking play some puck for us. So how do you feel as a Canadian about the roster? And it has to be a big deal. It's hockey. It's your nation's sport. Are the Olympics still a big deal up there? Because if the NHL players don't play down here, no one gives a fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean hockey's always a big deal in Canada. It doesn't matter what it is, but and of course the Olympics are a huge deal, and of course everybody's pissed that the NHL isn't playing, and I'm not watching this year. I guarantee they'll be watching it. To be completely honest, I'm going to sound like the one asshole. I have never even looked at the roster or give a shit. Actually, I don't really.
Dude,
like I said, their names wouldn't mean anything to me. I haven't paid much attention, but I will say I think it's cool for those guys. I mean, this is a big opportunity for
Absolutely.
them, and they're pros. It's not like they went and picked up, Dennis from the Jiffy Lube to play center. I mean,
I'm not playing.
No, these guys are all pro hockey players, and I think sometimes on Twitter, which was really annoying, these people talk to them like I said, like they were just the clowns running the Ferris wheel at the county fair or something. It's these guys are pros.
That's the one argument I had with them. They're like, well, it's always better when the amateurs go to the Olympics. And I said, do you realize that not one guy on this United States hockey roster is an amateur hockey player?
Oh, yeah, like they went and picked up the freaking Rosetown Spent Bullets senior hockey team to go represent Canada. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, it's like these guys are all playing overseas and some of them played in the NHL or played,
Yeah,
it's just that I always hate that. It's like this. And it's like it always happens. It's just such a disrespect to the minor league guys. And it's just, I hate that shit when people like, oh, well, he just played in the East Coast League. That's just all he did? Are you kidding? Do you know how good these guys are?
Yeah.
That's the one thing about the Vegas thing that really bugs me. Oh, I'm so glad we finally have pro hockey in Vegas. Well, you've had pro hockey in Vegas for years. You had the Las Vegas Thunder in the IHL. You had the Las Vegas Wranglers in the East Coast League for years.
The Wranglers.
Oh, yeah, but that's not the same. God damn, of course it is.
Yeah.
It's not Sidney Crosby out there, but I mean, these guys are pro players. Like, where do you think these guys came from?
Exactly.
It's like just this disrespect to minor league guys. It just annoys the shit out of me.
It's got I hope it changes. I mean, just the negative shit everywhere. It's time to put it down, man. Things could be a lot worse. If you're in the ECHL, you're pretty good at hockey. And what I'm excited about for the Olympics, I looked, exclusively into the United States team, but I don't know for anybody on Canada or Russia. So, I mean, that surprise element for me has me really excited to see how these teams match up and play against each other. I mean, obviously Canada's going to be the favorite just because they're Canada, but I mean, it really seems like it's up in the fucking air.
Oh, and it'll be really good hockey, and it's like, well, that's the thing. You watch on on Twitter, if when Canada plays the States or whatever, when the game's over or halfway through you know what, this hockey actually isn't that bad. These guys are pretty good. Well, no shit, genius. Like, oh yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you watch. Yeah, the hockey, of course it'll be good.
The guy who's been playing in the AHL for 13 years is pretty good at hockey.
Yeah, that's like when Tanner Glass. I can't believe he scored. Like Tanner Glass has been playing without a stick for the last 10 years. Like, oh, you fucking morons. Yeah.
Well, best of luck.
I was going to say before. I know you want to get going, but I was going to say about that Bell Let's Talk.
Yeah,
which was great because I think I read it raised $6 million or something, which was awesome.
Holy shit.
But it was, you just think that's like 5 cents per retweet. They made like $6 million. So it's pretty sweet. Great cause, but the one thing that I found really annoying, and it was same like the Hockey News and Ken Campbell and all these assholes, these ignorant clowns that are like the Broadway Blue Shirts guy. Oh, I guarantee when that Bell Let's Talk Day was on, he probably retweeted it 1,000 times and talked about mental health and what we should all talk and be this and be that and all, which is good. But for the other 364 days, I can call this guy a piece of shit, and that guy's a loser, and I'll write articles about Michael Limbus, how he shouldn't be in the NHL, and what a hot piece of garbage he is. But but on the January 31st, let's just all remember mental health, and it's just like, you friggin' hypocrites. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and so
Ken Campbell, the senior editor of the Hockey News, when Michael Limbus got called up for his first NHL game, wrote an article online about how he shouldn't be playing in the NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't say, he's a piece of shit, but it was inferred,
right?
That, he's useless and whatever. Well, Michael Limbus read that.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's just kind of rolled his eyes, Campbell, whatever. But in the very back of his mind, he still would think about that. Yeah. And you want to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
But January 31st, Ken Campbell, the Hockey News cares and retweets all this stuff.
Man, that's a great point. That is a fucking great point, man.
Well, it's like, go kiss my ass, you ignorant asshole.
I can't read.
And same with James Myrtle in the Toronto Sun. Like, I can remember the day Steve Montador committed suicide. unfortunately. And I can remember James Myrtle, his tweets, which he deleted quickly when I brought them up. Oh, I think he did it because he had money problems. That was his tweet.
Oh, wow.
The body was still warm. Oh, and this is what he's tweeting. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Which I called him out for, which, of course, he promptly blocked me and deleted the tweet. But, like, you asshole. Oh, but there I see on Bell Let's Talk, oh, he's retweeting it and saying how we need to focus on mental health, and, oh, he's playing the baby face, and look at me. But every other day you write shit like that. Like, yeah.
Well, that's like I said last week. I think these hockey writers better fucking pick up their game, and because I think things could change for the worse for them if they did. Because the general hockey fan, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are buying into their bullshit and they like Ken Campbell. I won't read Ken Campbell's work anymore. I won't do it.
Well, you just think, like, I'm blasting Damian Cox and James Myrtle, but, I mean, they got 100,000 followers on Twitter. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's, after I started to say it, I'm like, no, these guys are thriving and doing well. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, I argue with people, and it's like they may as well just, I think they cut and paste hockey news articles when they're arguing. I mean, they have no original thought. They just, I'm like, oh, I read this article. Ken Campbell said these exact things, like, 3 weeks ago, and the people just buy into it.
Yeah.
But it's like, and you can have, like as I always said, you can have your opinion. That's fine.
Right.
But when you start getting ignorant and everything, and I laugh because somebody points out to me, oh, how bitter I am. Oh, you're just you're always complaining and bitter and mean and everything. I said, when you go back and out of my 35,000 tweets, what tweet have I ever said anything about a player being a piece of shit?
Right.
You go find one. You won't be able to find one. I've never knocked a player. I've knocked actions that they've done, like he shouldn't have done that, or that was kind of whatever. But I've never said, oh, the Sedins are flaming assholes and dumpster fires. I've never said that. I've never said anything against a player. Why would I?
No, I haven't. Yeah, don't go look through my tweets because I have said things.
Well, I mean, but it's like at the same, because if I did, that would be being like I can't. That'd be how can I not Ken Campbell for that when I'm doing the same thing? I mean,
well, exactly, and
I don't do that.
I've tried to change my tune on it too because I've been guilty of some of this stuff, and we've had these conversations that I don't want to put any more negativity out in the world. I mean, my sense of humor might be dark and fucked up, but I really don't like. I don't need to be calling, professional hockey players pieces of shit. Like I'll say fuck Jimmy Vesey all day long, but dude can play hockey.
Well, yeah. I mean, and like I said, you can have I think Jim's better than Joe, and he should be in the lineup instead. Well, that's not knocking anybody. That's just your opinion and whatever.
Right.
Like I said, to me, it just crosses the line when, like, some of these people legitimately go on about, well, like Cody McLeod being a waste of a roster spot, and he's a piece of shit and a dumpster fire. And they put the little GIF up there with the bin on fire.
It's useless waste of space.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, just... maybe just say I'd rather have Joe Blow in instead of McLeod. Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. But do you have to go on and on? Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just so disrespectful.
Yeah, it sure is, man. Hey, man, I always appreciate you coming on. You're always, clearly the best guest I ever get because you're the download champ, man. Still reigning, still undefeated.
Well, so this is like the fourth time, but my other 3 episodes, where are they?
I know one's at number 1. I think one's at number 3, and then I think one's at number 5. Has it been 3 times, and this will be the 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all top 5, and then the number 1 is number 1 by quite a bit. So that number 1's sitting pretty. I think that was your second appearance as the number 1 of all time.
Well, hey, there we go. No, I always appreciate you having me on, and like I said, and everybody because actually the feedback I've gotten from people has been really good too. It's maybe I should get my ass in gear and actually make my own podcast, like I keep saying.
Yeah, just keep coming on here, man. You're always welcome.
Well, there we go.
Hey, be safe. Be safe going to the States, man. Don't lose too much money, and we'll think of a bet for when the United States beats Canada here for the gold.
We'll come up with something. Maybe regardless, I'll have to send you down some Tim Hortons K-Cups or something.
Fuck yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good night.
You too. There he was in all his splendor, the 4th Line Voice. Always appreciate him coming on. Got a little segment I want to do here before we clock off, and this is Mike Grinnell's BarstoolSports.com's Top 10 NCAA hockey teams. Right now he's got number 1 Cornell, number 2 Notre Dame. Definitely switch those, Grinnell. Come on, bud. Number 3 Denver. Number 4 Clarkson. Number 5 The Ohio State University. Maybe my favorite for the Big Ten. He mentions that in his blog. Go read it for sure. Number 6 the Gophers of Minnesota. Number 7 St. Cloud. Number 8 Providence. Number 9 Northeastern. Number 10 the Sioux, North Dakota. Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback. Please go rate and review us on iTunes. We're on Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, TuneIn, anywhere that you can get a podcast, we're on that bitch. Thank you. I love you guys. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go USA.